There were some really interesting proposals about this Department of Ed restructuring, incidentally. A day after signing an executive order to dismantle the Department of Ed, Trump announced his plan for how student loans and other services would be handled within the government. I loved this move. You ready for this? The Small Business Administration, because of course, why wouldn't they, will take on student lending. And as for special needs services and nutrition programs, of course, why wouldn't they, Health and Human Services. Again, I know that many of you are saying, and I don't disagree, small government people would say, why are we doing any kind of needs servicing as some sort of charitable thing out of a federal department? That's probably not the place for it. Send the dollars back to the states and let them administer it. But I get it. Republicans are in a rock and a hard place here. You've got all of this stuff federally funded, I don't know if you want to use the word entitlement programs or whatever. Trump, Republicans, they can't do anything to touch that. They know that's third rail stuff. So that stuff is still here to stay. And Trump just says, well, it's just going to go under a different division. We don't need a Department of Education to handle lending. We've got a Small Business Administration for that. Anyway, Linda McMahon out there talking a little bit about the work that they intend to do. Cut 1144.
Our goal is to make sure that we are providing the best education for students in our country. We cannot be last in the world in education because we are impacting our national security. We are impacting those next, second, and third generations that are coming along. It is up to us and our responsibility to make sure we are giving them the best access to education.
And then she goes on to make the very point that I was just making. Why is, the Department of Education handling special needs at the federal level? Linda McMahon makes this very important point, 1145.
They're not going to be disrupted, and it really does rest from the federal level on the funding. So the funding is appropriated by Congress. It flows through to the states. But am I, the Secretary of Education sitting in Washington, going to have a view into a schoolroom where a teacher is trying to take care of a student with special needs? Or is that going to happen better at the local level where that teacher, in cooperation with the parents and the local school officials, has more opportunity to make sure that that student's needs are taken care of? That's where it needs to lie. Well, but if they don't have the funding, if they don't have the support from Congress to continue to appropriate that money, then that's where the students can really, fall through the cracks.
And why is this so upsetting to Democrats? Nobody is actually defending the Department of Education. You know that. Who's making a credible case, even on the left right now, that the Department of Education must be maintained as it is? Linda McMahon and Trump are saying everybody that needs funding is still going to get the funding. We're not taking funding away. We're slashing the bureaucracy in the federal government called the Department of Education. You don't need thousands of people overseeing this funding. We cut the check, we send it to the states administer it. That's it, the end. Education should be run at the state level. And what's the big Democrat objection to this? This is critical to know and understand and keep in mind as we talk about things like this kind of, for us, systemic radical change. This is a vote-buying scheme. The Department of Education, much like the discussion of Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security and all of these things, these are largely vote-buying schemes.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.